Love yourself first. Understanding. Love God, love yourself, love others in Stoicism. Stoicism, originating from ancient Greece, emphasizes personal happiness and virtue ethics. It posits that the practice of virtue is a necessary and sufficient condition for achieving happiness. According to Stoicism, virtue is the only good, and the path to happiness requires practicing virtue by adhering to nature. 1. Love for God. Stoicism advocates that one should follow the laws of nature, viewing the orderliness of nature as a manifestation of divinity. Therefore, their form of loving God is through understanding and accepting the hardships and challenges in life as part of the natural process. This point of view can be understood as accepting and appreciating the world as it is currently, equivalent to respecting and caring about nature. For instance, while we may not be able to control the weather, we can choose to accept it as part of life instead of resisting it or feeling frustrated. Challenges such as falling ill, losing a job, or facing failure, as unpleasant as they may be, are all part of the natural process of life. The advancement of civilization and advocacy for environmental protection are natural actions taken by humans in reciprocation to nature, because ultimately we are part of nature. To practice this view, you can observe and respect the order and rhythm of nature, for instance, by daily observing the rhythms of nature, sunrise and sunset, the changing seasons, and ecological transitions. Understand that these are all manifestations of the impermanence of the universe, which will help you grasp the fleeting and impermanent nature of life. Moreover, you can feel a sense of unity with nature, allowing your mind to find peace and relaxation through meditation, yoga, or walks in the great outdoors. It's worth noting that the biggest challenge to practicing this view may be maintaining a calm and accepting attitude in the face of difficulty and stress. There may be times when we feel that life is unfair to us, but remember, as Stoic philosophy explains, we cannot control what life brings us, but we can choose how to face it. This does not mean being indifferent to the bad things, but rather understanding how to learn from these experiences and allow them to make us stronger and wiser. Take, for example, if you lose a job. You could choose to be endlessly angry and resentful, unable to accept the reality. This would fill your life with negativity. But if you choose to accept this fact, although it's a blow, you could see it as an opportunity for a career change or to find another job that suits you better. This attitude of acceptance and adaptability aligns more closely with Stoic thought. 2. Loving yourself. According to Stoicism, true happiness comes from inner peace and the pursuit of rationality rather than from accumulating material wealth. Health, wealth, and pleasure are incidental to life, not the primary objectives of one's pursuit. Therefore, loving oneself is the pursuit of inner peace and logic, advocating for self-restraint, controlling and cultivating one's emotions and desires, and keeping those desires within reasonable bounds to achieve inner peace and harmony. For example, you might want to buy a new piece of equipment, but you need to ask yourself, do you really need it? Or is it just the novelty that appeals? Rational thinking and decision-making can avoid unnecessary emotional distress and also give you a clearer life direction. To practice this concept, you can periodically reflect on your behavior and identify whether you're excessively pursuing desires. Regular meditation or reflection to observe the ebb and flow of your emotional state and desires, followed by rational handling of these emotions and desires rather than blindly chasing them, can be helpful. You can also set goals for achieving rationality and tranquility, such as setting the goal to read for 30 minutes a day to cultivate habits of rational thinking. It is essential to understand that the pursuit of inner peace does not imply the complete suppression or denial of emotions. Emotions are part of being human, and Stoicism does not advocate for one to discard emotions, but rather to rationally face and handle emotions, to avoid emotions taking control. For instance, when we face life challenges or feel confused or tired, we should first allow these emotions to exist, and then use rational thinking to analyze the situation, understand where these emotions stem from, work out how to deal with them, and then act. For instance, when you feel dejected in the face of difficulty, you can acknowledge this emotion, then clarify its source. Is it because you've set high expectations for yourself? Through rational analysis, you may find it's just a setback, and life goes on anyway. You can use this setback to train your resilience. This process is the Stoics' way of loving oneself, a process of internal self-improvement. 3. Loving others. In Stoicism, the concept of oikeiosis suggests loving others as we love ourselves. This is a natural inclination towards self-preservation, self-development, and concern for the community. It's a pro-social instinct inherent in us all. This instinct prompts us to care for the well-being of others, just like we care for our own. For example, when you see someone in need of help, such as an elderly person crossing the road, someone who dropped their wallet, or someone who looks sad, you can help them in whatever way you can. By doing so, you are practicing loving others. Stoicism encourages us to extend this care to all of humanity. Helping others is a manifestation of one's own morality, reflecting Stoic understanding of universal morality. As citizens of the world, we should actively participate in world affairs, assist others, and make ethical choices whenever possible. To practice this philosophy in depth, you can proactively look for opportunities to assist others, such as volunteering in local community, donating goods or money, or checking in on your loved ones. Moreover, viewing ourselves as global citizens not only requires us to care about our local communities, but also wider global issues such as climate change, war disputes, and poverty, with the intent of effecting change through our own power. However, it needs to be noted that loving others does not mean sacrificing ourselves or endlessly meeting other people's needs. Love for others arises instinctively and morally, but boundaries should still be set. In respecting others, we should also respect ourselves and not indulge in others' unreasonable demands. Additionally, the necessity of listening to others is equally important, to understand their genuine needs instead of blindly offering help. For example, if a friend becomes overly dependent on you, always asking you to solve their problems, and you meet their needs unconditionally out of love for others, you might inadvertently foster their dependency. In such scenarios, the right way is to assist them from a perspective of love to learn how to navigate their own issues, even if this might cause temporary discomfort. This is because real help lies in helping them grow, not fostering dependency. This constitutes the very essence of Stoic love for others. In summary, Stoicism emphasizes that our actions should be guided by morality and reason. Love for God, self, and others should adhere to these principles. Loving God signifies embracing and respecting the laws of nature. Loving oneself involves cultivating inner peace, rational desires, and practicing virtue, while loving others embraces humanitarianism, promoting social harmony and welfare. So, where does Stoicism stand on a concept like loving oneself comes first? While Stoicism does not deny the importance of self-love, it advocates for a broader and more profound perspective. That is, the love for the universal. Stoicism emphasizes reason, self-restraint, and acceptance of the inevitabilities of life, extending its focus beyond the narrow confines of self to include human community and even the universe. When Stoicism talks about self-love, it's not in the context of pursuing excessive self-satisfaction or materialistic pleasure, but rather the fulfillment of basic life necessities, maintaining physical and mental health, and introspecting for self-improvement. True self-love implies reaching for inner peace, adhering to reason, forming good habits, and possessing the ability to coexist harmoniously with the world. Therefore, when Stoicism addresses the idea of loving oneself comes first, it can be interpreted as understanding and taking care of one's own physical and mental needs is important, but likewise significant is not to overlook the love and responsibility we owe to others and the world around us. As part of society, our actions will invariably impact others and the world. Hence, whilst loving ourselves, we should not forget our duty to respect and care for others and all living beings. So, to what extent should one love oneself to be able to love God and others? Stoicism does not emphasize the sequence of love oneself first, then love others. Instead, it underscores that individuals should find balance in the relationship between self and others. Those who are willing to care for others are not doing so out of a lack of self-love, but because they understand that their welfare is interconnected with the welfare of others. In other words, it is possible to love others while loving oneself, without a definitive need to first love oneself well, then love others. For Stoics, loving oneself does not mean satisfying personal desires excessively, but pursuing inner peace and reason, shaping a better self through their actions and attitude. This is the greatest form of self-love. When we care for others, we are actually actualizing love for oneself, because we are each a part of society's circle, our connections making it impossible to be entirely independent of others. Kindness, friendliness, and understanding shown to others also make us better individuals. In the perspective of Stoicism, the saying of loving oneself comes first is actually not accurate. It overly emphasizes a self-centered concept. Stoicism values harmonious coexistence between individuals and society, meeting personal needs while assisting others as much as possible, adhering to morality in order to attain inner peace. We live in the world not just to survive, but also to live as meaningfully as possible. This is the core concept of Stoicism. So, how should we understand the statement, and instead concentrate on looking after yourself first? Taking care of others will follow. The spirit of this statement originates from the recognition of the importance of self-care. The central idea of concentrate on looking after yourself first is that we firstly need to care for and protect our physical and mental health, meet our needs, which is the prerequisite for us to help and care for others. You can better aid others only when you yourself are in a good state. The part of taking care of others will follow signifies that once you have learned how to take care of yourself, you become better equipped to care for others. This may stem from the realization that, to understand and take care of others, we need to first understand and care for ourselves. We cannot give to others what we do not have ourselves. the care and attention we give to ourselves can be translated into the care and help we offer to others. Overall, this statement encourages people to first focus and take care of themselves before they can do a better job of taking care of others. It is a concept of continuous self-care to maintain individual health and happiness. If a person cannot take care of themselves, they may be unable to provide the necessary care and affection to others due to physical and mental health issues. For instance, if a person is unable to free themselves from stress and worry, they may be unable to provide understanding, sympathy, or support to others. However, this does not mean that we focus on ourselves to the point of neglecting others. This principle does not encourage excessive self-indulgence, but suggests that while meeting our own needs, we should also invest in caring for others and aiding them. If a person cares too much about themselves without considering the feelings and needs of others, such behavior could potentially slide into selfishness. While the phrase, "only after caring for oneself can one care for others," underscores the importance of self-care to a certain degree, this should not be the reason for someone to be selfish and always prioritize their own interests. The main point of this statement is to encourage individuals to take good care of themselves in order to better take care of others, not to seek personal gain at the expense of others. Therefore, if anyone uses this statement as a reason to only prioritize their own interests, disregarding the feelings and benefits of others, such an interpretation deviates from the original intent. If a person is only considering their own interests and does not care for others, they cannot provide effective help, which will only lead to relationships becoming distant and the loss of trust, running counter to the original intent of caring for others. From the perspective of Stoicism, we can re-examine the concept of only after caring for oneself can one care for others. Stoicism believes that moral behavior and actions in accordance with nature are key to happiness, implying that a person's actions should aim for self-improvement to attain a rational and ethical lifestyle, which includes an understanding of self-care. The concept of only after caring for oneself can one care for others does not encourage selfishness, but rather demands us to rationally scrutinize our own needs and self-care. Based on self-care, we can develop sympathy and empathy for others, thereby serving society better. Stoicism is a theory of self-guidance, emphasizing reason, virtue, and inner tranquility. In understanding the balance between caring for oneself and caring for others, Stoicism provides some unique insights. Therefore, using Stoicism theory, we can understand that this statement encourages us not to be selfish, but to find a balance where we take care of ourselves well and are also able to care for and help others, thereby achieving true happiness and harmony. In conclusion, Stoicism emphasizes that everyone should be responsible for their own thoughts and actions. It encourages people to seek knowledge and understanding, and through this path to self-care. In Stoicism, looking after yourself first does not mean prioritizing self-needs above others, but promotes self-awareness and self-understanding in order to better understand others and the world around us. At the same time, there needs to be a balance between caring for oneself and others. We need to improve our understanding and empathy through self-care to better care for others in turn. In this way, caring for oneself and others can act as processes that complement each other, enhancing personal happiness and contributing to establishing harmonious interpersonal relationships. If you found it helpful, please like and share it for the benefit of more people.